Hello dear students, welcome to Bajirao Ias Academy interview guidance program. In yesterday's class we have discussed about the interim budget. Now what is interim budget and what is full budget? We have discussed the difference between both of these budgets, and apart from that we have also discussed about the fiscal deficit. Now what is a fiscal deficit, what is revenue deficit, and we have also discussed about the primary deficit as well. Now, if I can revise those things, fiscal deficit generally involves the expenditure minus revenue of the government, and in fiscal deficit we have to exclude the borrowings so that we can get the fiscal deficit. Now fiscal deficit generally indicates what government has to borrow for to meet its welfare requirements or welfare needs. Now when we say the primary deficit generally involves the fiscal deficit. Fiscal deficit is generally this, and fiscal deficit, and in this fiscal deficit we need to exclude the interest payments that were paid in the previous borrowing, and we can get the primary deficit. And we have also discussed the definition of revenue deficit. Revenue deficit is nothing, just we need to exclude the revenue from the expenditure, okay, so that we can get the overall revenue deficit. Now fiscal deficit and revenue deficit, primary deficit are the terms which are discussed in the union budget, and they are very relevant for the examination point of view. And yesterday we had also talked about different government schemes which are introduced as part of this budget. Okay, so generally interim budget does not contain any major policy announcements because this is just a vote on account budget, and the incumbent government has introduced this budget only for the shorter period of time. And we have also clearly understood the basic characteristics and differences between interim budget as well as the full budget. Now if we can revise again, the annual financial statement, it is what is mentioned in the Indian Constitution, Article 112 of the Indian Constitution. Okay, so it is nowhere mentioned in the Indian Constitution that the term budget is nowhere mentioned in the Indian Constitution. Rather, Article 101 talks about the annual financial statement. Now this annual financial statement usually contains the receipts and expenditure of the Government of India for a specific financial year. So according to Article 112 of the Indian Constitution. So Article 112 says that the President shall lay before both houses of the Parliament the estimated receipts and expenditure. So therefore this is what is called as annual financial statement, and this will be introduced in the Parliament as a financial bill. I hope all of you know the difference between financial bill and money bill, and the powers of Lok Sabha with respect to money bill, and the powers of the speaker categorizing a particular bill as money bill. Okay, so this is briefly about the yesterday's lecture and the interim budget for today's discussion. Now in this session we will talk about few government schemes which were introduced earlier and this budget had specifically talked about. Now first and foremost we need to talk about the Ayushman Bharat program. Now Ayushman Bharat program has been launched by the Government of India to provide health care insurance, for the poor. Now if you look at the healthcare insurance statistics in India, healthcare has not actually penetrated into the different segments across the country. So therefore, in order to ensure health security and also to make sure that the universal health care is a norm, government has launched a program called Ayushman Bharat to enhance the healthcare insurance penetration across the different segments of the population. Okay, so this is also called as PM-JAI. Okay, so this is Jan Arogya Yojana, PM-JAI, and this program has been launched in the year 2018. Now according to this program, around 5 lakh rupees of health insurance will be provided for each household in a particular financial year, so that any health related problem can be treated with this 5 lakh insurance cover per household. So in this interim budget, around 31,998 crore has been allocated for PM Jan Arogya Yojana by the government, right? So if we talk about the PM Jan Arogya Yojana, it is a free health insurance for low income earners. So there are number of segments within the country who have been categorized as low income earners, and since they lack the job security and they are also facing problems like unemployment, poverty, and because of all those challenges they are considered as low income groups. So therefore it is important to provide healthcare insurance for those low income groups or people who are below poverty line. So in order to envision this goal, the government has launched PM Jan Arogya Yojana, and it has also allocated around 31,998 crore rupees. So the budget had also talked about the achievements of the PM Jan Arogya Yojana. So 30.3 crore Ayushman Bharat cards created and 6.2 crore hospital admissions have been done so far. So this is considered as a major achievement because every poor household, almost every poor household is covered under the PM Jan Arogya Yojana because it covers around 30.3 crore households. So apart from that, health insurance is increasingly available to the poorer sections. So that will help achieve the objective of this particular program. After that, the government has also launched the Swachh Bharat program in the year 2014. We all know about the Swachh Bharat program and remarkable progress it has made in personal hygiene, cleanliness and sanitation, and urban solid waste management, and even in rural areas solid waste management has been streamlined because of the Swachh Bharat mission or Swachh Bharat program. And as part of this, drinking water, sanitation, solid waste management have been focused areas. Sanitation, right? So the Swachh Bharat mission has been launched in the year 2014, and the major objective of the Swachh Bharat program is to eliminate the open defecation. Now open defecation have a lot of challenges associated with it. It is related to a matter of dignity for women, and apart from that, open defecation is a source of a lot of diseases that have been impacting people in those areas. So therefore, in order to eliminate open defecation, the government has launched Swachh Bharat Abhiyan. Now the achievement of this program is around 85% of the villages so far have declared open defecation free. So this is considered as major achievement of the government. Now if we talk about the major remark of this Swachh Bharat Abhiyan, it is effective in constructing the toilets, not just the personal toilets but also the community toilets in most of these rural areas. But habits can take time to change though. Okay, so this effectively means that even though we have constructed the personal toilets and the community toilets, the attitudinal change among the people, the attitudinal change and behavioral change takes time. So therefore the government has made right efforts in this regard. After that, the government has also launched Mudra Yojana program, and this program was launched in the year 2015. So what is this Mudra Yojana? So this is microfinancing. This is a microfinancing program that has been launched by the government in 2015. So under this Mudra Yojana, loans will be provided or institutional credit will be provided under three categories. They are Shishu, Kishore and Tarun. So these are the three categories under which loans are provided for different categories of people. So disbursed by lending agencies including the banks and non-banking financial companies will disperse these loans to the eligible beneficiaries. So under Tarun, around 10 lakh loan will be provided for small and marginal or micro enterprises under this Mudra Yojana. So around 23.38 lakh crore have been disbursed so far under the Mudra Yojana. So this is a major achievement under the Mudra Yojana program. And in fact, if we talk about the achievement of this program, this scheme has actually exceeded its target in many years. So therefore, this is considered as one of the most important achievement of the government. So after that, the government has also launched Amrut program. Okay, so Amrut means Atal Mission for Rejuvenation and Urban Transformation. So this scheme was launched by the government in the year 2015. The basic objective of this program, development of basic infrastructure in selected cities and towns by financial year 2026. Okay, so we have the urban areas and there is a need to rejuvenate these urban areas by developing infrastructure. So therefore, the government has launched Amrut program. And if we talk about the major achievements of the Amrut program, around 80% of the total projects in these urban areas have been completed. So it has made a lot of difference in urban transportation and many cities and towns. See, in urban areas, it is very important to improve the standard of living of the people, and not just the standard of living, but also make sure the urban infrastructure is sustainable in nature. And it is also important because of the growing relevance and importance of urban areas and urban migration, that we should make sure the urban transportation is environment friendly and resilient. So therefore, Amrut mission has been taking all the measures to achieve the objectives of the Swachh Bharat Abhiyan and even the smart cities program and all. So in this budget, around 58,503 crore have been allocated for the Amrut mission. So after that, the PM Ujjwala Yojana was another flagship program of the government. This was launched in the year 2016. So around 58,706 crore have been allocated so far for this particular Ujjwala Yojana program. So I hope all of you have the basic idea about the Ujjwala program. So Ujjwala program generally envisions, or it provides, clean cooking fuel to poor household, especially the women. So this is to make women free of any health related problems or challenges that they have been facing. Okay, so clean cooking fuel to poor households. At least one cylinder will be provided to 10.1 crore households, poor households, especially people who are below poverty line. So this has helped so far shift towards the cleaner cooking fuel, though buying refills is a problem for many. Okay, so many people have been facing a lot of problem in purchasing these LPG cylinders. So therefore, it has helped it has helped shift towards the cleaner cooking fuel. To buying refills is a major problem so far, because in recent times, especially after the COVID-19 pandemic, the LPG cylinder costs or the prices have been significantly increased. So PM Kisan Yojana, the government has also launched PM Kisan. So it was launched in the year 2019. Okay, so PM Kisan was launched in the year 2019 and the government has allocated around 3,42,506. Okay, this much of amount has been allocated by the government. And this program, we all know that the government will provide around 6,000 rupees of financial assistance to every farmer. However, you have to understand that tenant farmers will not be covered under the PM Kisan Yojana. Only landed farmers, small and marginal farmers, will be covered under the PM Kisan program. So it gives farmers up to 6,000 per year minimum income support. Okay, so if we talk about the major achievements of this program, around 2.8 lakh crore paid to around 11.8 crore farmers so far. So this has been giving financial assistance and it helps farmers to input needs in their crop management. Okay, so however, 6,000 rupees will not be provided at one go, rather it will be provided in 3 installments and 2,000 each installments. So therefore, it provides money to the farmers to meet their basic healthcare needs. Okay, so these are the major programs and the flagship programs the government has launched, targeting various sections across healthcare, agriculture, and women, etc. So apart from that, we also have another major important program, so that is PM Fasal Bima Yojana. So this Fasal Bima Yojana mainly aimed to provide insurance to crops. So crop insurance is also a very important aspect that the government has taken care of, and it usually provide insurance for the farmers against crop losses or crop damages because of any major climate related event, droughts, floods, or any other failure of the crops. So around 1.5 lakh crore paid as claims to 4 crore farmers, and this is a major achievement of the PM Fasal Bima Yojana. Earlier, there was no such scheme, so which is impactful or effective, covering most of the farmers. But because of the PM Fasal Bima Yojana, if crop failure takes place, farmers are getting the compensation or insurance amount. Now many farmers have been getting benefited by this, and but issues remain in implementation. Now the selection of the eligible beneficiaries is with the state government, and along with that, farmers lack the necessary or desired levels of awareness with respect to the PM Fasal Bima Yojana, and that is a major impediment in the implementation of this particular program. So after that, we need to talk about the major achievements of this government in last few years, okay, or last year. So the government has made concerted efforts to develop and strengthen digital public infrastructure. For example, if you look at the digital payments in India, India is the global leader in digital payments across the world. So therefore, it helps in formalization of economy, and it will reduce the informal economy and the not just the informal economy, but the flow of black money in the economy can be significantly reduced. However, with the digital public infrastructure, challenges remain, such as cyber security or cyber threats remain a challenge. So after that, the government has also launched goods and services tax. So this goods and services tax has implemented across India, and therefore it has enabled one nation, one market, one tax. So accordingly, under Article 279A, so the government has also created GST Council, and this is the best example of fiscal federalism or cooperative federalism, where state governments and the center have in this have representation, but in GST Council, state governments have more representation. So after that, we need to talk about the gift city that was in Dholera, Gujarat. So this is a unified regulatory authority, and it is considered as a robust gateway for global capital and other important financial services. So despite all of these challenges due to the COVID-19 pandemic, so all of these challenges particularly because of the COVID-19 pandemic and Indian economy had faced, the government is close to achieving the target of around 3 crore houses in implementing the PM Awas Yojana Gramin. Now, what is the objective of Pradhan Mantri Gramin Awas Yojana? The objective is housing for all. Housing for all is the major objective of the PM Awas Yojana. So therefore, the government says, despite all of these challenges because of the COVID-19 pandemic, the government is very close to achieving the target of providing housing for all under PM Awas Yojana. So if we talk about the global achievements at the global level, India's achievements, India successfully conducted the G20 summit last year in 2023. So please understand that India had taken the reins of G20 leadership or president from Indonesia and successfully conducted and passed on to the next country, that is Brazil. So Brazil will be conducting, so this first Indonesia and India and then Brazil. So this is the chronology. Now India assumed the G20 presidency on 1st December 2022 from Indonesia and convened the G20 Leaders Summit for the first time in the country in the year 2023. Okay, so apart from that, India has also launched India Middle East and Europe economic corridor. So it is an economic game changer for India. Okay, so why? Because now India is directly connected with the Middle East and also Europe, and from even farther up to United States. So because of this reason, it is very significant for, especially for India, and in order to achieve the desired levels of supply chain resilience. So according to US, the recent attack of Hamas on Israel is this India, Middle East and Europe economic corridor is also responsible for recent Hamas attack on Israel. So therefore, this India, Middle East, Europe economic corridor has also launched as part of the India's G20 presidency. So these are some of the major achievements of India at the global level. Now in this context, the budget has also presented us with important data with respect to Indian economy. Now when we say the important data with respect to Indian economy, we need to talk about the current account deficit. Now what is a current account deficit? The current account deficit actually means that we are importing, so current account deficit actually means that we are importing more than our exports. Okay, so exports are actually less, but we are importing more across the globe. So therefore this has resulted in the current account deficit. Now if you look at the current account deficit as a percentage of GDP, whatever it might be, so we can see the decreasing or declining trend. So in the financial year 2014, it was around 1.75 percentage of GDP. Okay, so however, if you look at the financial year 24, the current account deficit, even though still we are importing more than our exports, but you can see a declining trend. Okay, so now we have reached up to 1.1 percentage of GDP. The current account deficit is what is current account deficit. Okay, so this indicates that India's manufacturing has been picking up, and India has also started exporting. India's exports have been significantly increasing. So the government has also presented some data with respect to unemployment. Unemployment is a major problem in India, and India has been facing a various forms of unemployment. For example, India has been facing the challenge of disguised unemployment in the agriculture sector, and apart from the disguised unemployment, so we do not have the voluntary unemployment, but we have been facing chronic unemployment. And apart from chronic unemployment, so we have also been facing seasonal unemployment. Okay, so these are the different forms of unemployment that India have been facing. However, the government data shows that over a period of time, the unemployment rate has been significantly declining. For example, in the year 2017-18, we have 6.1 percentage of unemployment, but in the year 2022-23, we have just 3.2 percentage of the unemployment. And this shows that there's a resilient performance of the Indian economy. Now, after that, there are important terms which are mentioned in the budget 2024. Okay, so these terms have actually been mentioned in the Union Budget 2024. So the first term that was mentioned, and yesterday also we have discussed about this term, that is Gyan. Okay, so what is this Gyan? So this Gyan is the focus area of the government. So the main areas of the government have been focused on. G means Garib, Y means young or youth, so Ye means Annadata, who is farmer, and Yan means Nari Shakti. So these four categories of people are the focus areas for the government going ahead and in this Amrit Kal. And after that, the government has also launched Sabka Prayas, and that means effort of all. Now, Sabka Prayas is actually a phrase describing how the whole nation overcome the challenge of the COVID-19 pandemic. Now, if you look at the India's track record with respect to the COVID-19 pandemic, India is one of the country which has successfully dealt with the COVID-19 pandemic, and it has also come out of it to lay the solid foundations for the Amrit Kal. Now, what is Amrit Kal? We have already celebrated 75 years of our independence, and we are heading for the 100th anniversary of our independence. The time period between 75th anniversary and 100th anniversary is called as Amrit Kal. So, Sabka Prayas. So, we have achieved a great success with respect to dealing with the COVID-19 pandemic through effort of all. So India is one of the country which has produced vaccines, and not just produced vaccines, it has distributed vaccines to achieve the vaccine equity across the globe. While if you look at the developed countries, so they even adopted vaccine protectionism by storing stockpiles of vaccine. After that, the PM Jan Man Yojana has also been launched. So this PM Jan Man is actually aimed at improving the socio-economic conditions of the particularly vulnerable tribal groups. Now, if you look at India, we have around 75 particularly vulnerable tribal groups. So therefore, this has been aimed at significantly improving the socio-economic conditions of these particularly vulnerable tribal groups. Households and habitations will be given with the basic facilities and all necessary infrastructure. So that will aim at improving the living standards and living conditions of these particularly vulnerable tribal groups. In those areas where particularly vulnerable tribal groups usually live, healthcare, education are the major challenges. So therefore, this budget, and particularly the PM Jan Man Yojana, is aimed at providing all necessary infrastructure to improve the living standards of the people in particularly vulnerable tribal groups. So after that, we should also talk about the nano DAP. Earlier we had a lecture on nano DAP that has been launched by IFFCO in order to achieve efficiency in fertilizer usage, and also make sure that the farmers use this fertilizer in a more efficient manner. So nano DAP is actually a nanotechnology based revolutionary fertilizer, and this has been launched in India for the first time. Okay, so if you look at the world, this is India's innovation. Now nano DAP is actually a nanotechnology based DAP, and it is a revolutionary fertilizer, and that actually provides nitrogen and phosphorus to various plants. And apart from that, it is considered as a sustainable option for the farmers. Now if you look at the nano DAP, it is a sustainable solution for existing existing fertilizer, for example urea or DAP. Now because 50 kilograms of bag have to be if you look at the nano DAP, it is less than just 500 ml. So 500 ml will be mixed with the water and just sprayed it on crops. Okay, so therefore it will be considered as a sustainable option for the farmers towards the smart agriculture, and it will also help combat climate change. So DAP is a diammonium phosphate. This is the meaning of the DAP, and this diammonium phosphate is the second most extensively used fertilizer in India after urea. So urea is the most heavily used fertilizer in India. Now when we use these fertilizers in a most efficient and effective manner, so that will significantly reduces its wastage, and it is also helps in sustainable agriculture practices. Because of this reason, IFFCO has launched nano DAP. Now after that, the government has also focused on Lakpati Didi. So this is actually the central government program, and it provides skill development training to 20 million women in villages across the country. So therefore it essentially emphasizes on women empowerment. Okay, so it essentially emphasizes on women empowerment. So therefore it will provide around 20 million women skill development, and apart from providing skill development, it will also provide 5 lakh rupees of interest free loans so that they can become entrepreneurs by leveraging their skills. So this particular scheme encourages them to start micro enterprises and provides training in various skills such as plumbing, tailoring and other activities. So the government has also launched a program called Namo Bharat. So this Namo Bharat actually trains regional rapid transit system. So this was recently launched in Delhi. So Namo trains, okay, regional rapid transit system. So this regional rapid transit system is a new rail-based semi-high-speed, high-frequency commuter transit system, and it is designed to run at a speed of 180 kilometers per hour. So recently these Namo trains have been launched in Delhi, from Delhi to Meerut. Okay, so this is called as regional rapid transit system. Okay, so that's all in this lecture, and in tomorrow's lecture we will discuss about the major achievements of the government so far. So they are also very important, when we talk about the major achievements, we will discuss about the last few years achievements, and apart from that the major budgetary announcements, the positives and negative aspects of the budget. So from by tomorrow's lecture we will complete the whole budget. Okay, so budget is very important, so please if possible make a note of these important provisions. Okay, thank you.